This is very hot and I can't take a sip just yet, but hello! Welcome here, or welcome back to another video. At the beginning of the summertime, I made a video detailing all the books that I wanted to read throughout the summer, my summer TBR, so to speak. I gotta put this down, this is very hot. And although I've read a lot of the books on that list, there are still a few outstanding ones, and one which I've decided to move into my autumn reading instead. But it's coming up to the end of August, as you will know, and I have quite an ambitious autumn TBR, and I would really like to start fresh in September. So that means that I have quite a bit of reading to get through, and I thought this week I would see how much I can read, even though I'm working a fair bit this week. So let's start with the two books that I have currently on the go. The first is The Hobbit, which I'm hoping to finish pretty much after I finish filming this segment. I've only got about 10 or 15 pages left, so this one is an easy read. I've been loving this book. It's so cozy and whimsical and just the perfect amount of adventuring, not too serious, stakes aren't too high, and just been really loving it. And then I also have a non-fiction on the go, and I think this is the only non-fiction. This is Stowaway, The Disreputable Exploits of the Rat by Joe Shute, which is a non-fiction all about the rat, its reputation, why it maybe has garnered this reputation, and how they are also incredibly misunderstood creatures. And I'm a big fan of rodents, as I've stated before on this channel, and specifically really interested in rats. And so far I've learnt quite a lot. I'm only 50 pages in, but they all have the most beautiful illustrations at the beginning of the chapters. Let me see if I can show you another one, good one that I saw. This one I'm really enjoying, but it's not quite as enveloping as a fiction read sometimes is. Oh, actually, no, there's three which I'm currently reading. So I've also got Why I Wake Early by Mary Oliver on the go, which is one that I'm just picking up and flicking through and reading as and when I would like. This week, I'm going to make a bit more of a conscious effort to really dive into these a little bit more, because it is just such beautiful writing. I absolutely adore Mary Oliver's work, and being able to see through the lens of her mind how she perceives nature and the world. Every time I read her poetry, I get a new appreciation for the world around us. So Mary Oliver will also be read this week. And now we move on to the two books which I am yet to start. So the first one is the chunkiest one. This is Child of the Prophecy by Juliette Marillier. This is it the third book in the Seven Waters trilogy, which I've read the other two, and book 3 of the Seven Waters trilogy. I really like this saga, but it's just such a rich and magical story, and I would so highly recommend specifically the first book in this trilogy, Daughter of the Forest. Really excited to dig my teeth into this one, although the writing is very small. And how many pages is this? 577 pages. So we'll see how far I get with this. And then lastly is a book which wasn't on my original TBR for the summer month, but it is our book club pick for the month. And the first book that has been picked is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I've been wanting to read this for ages anyway, because so many people have hyped it up and said how good it is. So I feel like I'll fly through this. I hope I will anyway. It is only 419 pages to get through. But I am really looking forward to starting both of these, and I'm going to start one this evening. I feel like A Court of Thorns and Roses is maybe my priority, because I need to talk about this in book club next week. So join me as I try to get through this stack of books. It's a horrible rainy day outside today. It's currently Tuesday, and I've just come in from the rain straight into the pajamas because I got soaked through. Cup of tea is ready and the perfect drinking temperature now. So all that's left to do is climb on that sofa and finish The Hobbit, and maybe even start a new book before I make some dinner. So if you would like to join me for this adventure into all of these new bookish worlds this week, then make yourself a hot drink, let's cozy up and see how many books we can get through before the end of summertime. Cheers! Perfect drinking temperature. I think this book is going to have a very special place in my heart. It was everything I wanted it to be and so cozy. If you are looking for a book to read late August, September, even if it's not this year, read The Hobbit if you haven't already. It's really short, really easy to get through, and I couldn't recommend it more. I just loved it so much. That was a very easy but very good start to my week, reading a lot, so it can only get better, I think. I think I'm going to make some dinner now and then pick the next book that I want to read. Good morning, friends. It's the next morning. You might be able to tell from my voice. It's still relatively early. I've got about half of my cup of coffee left and I'm going to take about 20 minutes now before I have to leave for work and do a little bit of reading. So yesterday I finished The Hobbit, as you saw, and I also started A Court of Thorns and Roses. I think I read just less than 60 pages last night, and so far I am absolutely loving it. I've never actually read anything by Sarah J Maas before, but I can see why people enjoy her writing so much. It's such easy writing to read, if that makes sense. It's good writing, but it's easy to read and digest. But I've got just less than 20 minutes now that I can fit in a little bit of reading, and I've also got my lunch break at work, but this evening I'm not sure how much time I'm gonna have. George and I are gonna go to a pub quiz, I believe, with some friends, and I'll be finishing quite late, so I'm not sure how much I'm gonna get read this evening. And I'm trying to decide whether to bring Stowaway to work or A Court of Thorns and Roses. My head says Stowaway, but my heart says A Court of Thorns and Roses. Then again, I'm gonna read this for 15-20 minutes now, so maybe I'll pack Stowaway. There's something about being stuck in a staff room with nothing else really to do that might make me just crack on a little bit more with this book, and I can see if I can hit 100 pages today with Stowaway. That would be amazing. So anyway, as I say, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch, so I'm gonna go and see if I can read a few more pages of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and because George has already headed out for the day, I think I might sneak back into bed and just read in bed for 10 or 15 minutes. So let's finish this coffee and get some reading done. It is just coming up to 8 p.m. on this fine Wednesday evening, and you may remember this morning that I said I was supposed to be going to a pub quiz this evening, but the events of the day did not quite go to plan. So about a week ago I ordered a few packages of things which we need for the new flat, and unfortunately, silly me accidentally ordered them to my previous address. And so today after work, we found out that they had been delivered. My previous housemate kindly let me go over, but it turns out that they either had not been delivered at all or somebody stole them, which is so sad and so unfortunate. So I was walking around for just over an hour, which was not ideal after a long day at work. Anyway, the silver lining in that, of course, is that I got lots of exercise and lots of steps in today. The downside is that I was feeling, and I still am feeling, a little bit glum, a little bit blue. So I've come home, I made myself some dinner, I feel a little bit better after eating, and I've just taken a nice shower. And although I'm not going out to a pub quiz and spending time with friends tonight, I am rather looking forward to cozying up for an hour or two with A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh, did you guys just see me bonk myself on the head? But yeah, I didn't manage to read too much more of this morning, and on my lunch break I probably read about 25 pages or so. Didn't get as much read as I would have liked to of Stowaway, so I feel a little bit behind on my reading goals anyway, so I'm not super mad at the prospect of cozying up in bed for an hour or two and getting some reading done. So that is my plan for the evening. Let's get to reading. Those miso noodles were so delicious and exactly what I needed after a long day at work. It has been a full 24 hours since I last spoke to you, so I absolutely owe you a reading update. So last night I got to page 138, which is pretty good progress considering, and it did exactly what I hoped it would do. I was in such a slump yesterday evening. I'm just feeling a little bit stinky about the world, but this book just really pulled me out of myself. It just transported me to another world, which was exactly what I need, and I have to say that I am absolutely loving the book so far. I always wonder when a book is hyped up so much if it's really worth the hype. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying Feyre, the main character. She's a character that I am totally rooting for, and I'm also at this point learning out more and more about Tamlin as well, who seems as though he holds so many secrets, as does Feyre. I feel like there's a lot being held back at the moment, but it is just making me want to continue reading. I'm loving the world building, and as I said previously, the writing style is just so easy to get into. It's not super laden with metaphor or jargon, and the magic system is very easy to understand. But I'm intrigued by the introduction of these more kind of nightmare characters or nightmare creatures as well. So really enjoying this so far, and my plan for this evening is to read another big chunk. I've been looking forward to sitting down and reading this all day long at work, and I think that's always a really good sign for a book. So now that I am fully satiated by my meal, I can settle down and read some of this. I think I also want to have tonight as like a mini self-care night. I think I want to paint my nails. I definitely want to read a good chunk of this, maybe even another 100 pages or so. We'll see how much we can get through. But for now, I think I'm going to go and find a little sweet treat and pick out a nail polish as well. writer, I have to confess. I read a good amount of pages and then got sucked into a TikTok hole. But I've pulled myself out and I want to go ahead and paint my nails. So let's find some options. So the colour I normally paint my nails is the Barry M Jelly High Shine Nail Paint in Honeysuckle. This is my go-to. This lighting is atrocious. But I'm thinking something a little bit darker, a little bit more autumnal, because today felt like the beginning of autumn in a way. Still relatively warm, a bit muggy, but rainy, very cool morning, bit crisp. It was delightful. So let's see what other options are available. Oh, I gotta show you these in a better light, bear with me. To be completely honest, I'm not sure that this lighting is any better. It's a little bit too late in the day. There's no natural light, unfortunately. And I've got no filming lights or anything. So let's see. Can you see the colour a bit better? So purple, my usual soft pink, or something fun and metallic. I think let's go for the purple. I need to find a base coat first though. I think I'm gonna stop reading for right now. I'm just less than halfway through, which is great. Again, loving it so far. I feel like we're finally getting to the romance of the book. I feel like there might be more than one in this book alone. Surely more than one in the whole series of books, yet to be determined. It feels like a really good, like, guilty pleasure read, but I do not feel any guilt, just pleasure, really. So I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm gonna watch a little bit of YouTube and all the sirens in the background. I've just got some windows open. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that and paint my nails. It is almost 10 o'clock, but I finished painting my nails. I will show you properly tomorrow in the daylight. I'm very pleased with them. They're just the right amount of like a autumnally colour. I don't know, I really like it. I never wear dark colours on my fingernails really. So this is a fun change and I've really been enjoying it for the past half an hour or so. But I'm gonna say good night and I'm going to retire for the evening and read a few more pages of A Court of Thorns and Roses before I go to sleep. I just feel like this is gonna be in my brain until I finish it. So yeah, I want to read a bit more and I will check in with you tomorrow morning. So sleep tight, friends. I will see you then. Spent this morning reading Why I Wake Early by Mary Oliver, and there is just something so magical about her poetry. She has the most beautiful, heartfelt way of writing. I I just adore it so much. Today is Friday. I have today and tomorrow off from work, from my day job. And so I wanted to treat myself to a little bit of a lie-in this morning and then read poetry this morning. And it has been so lovely. I think I was being a little bit ambitious when I set my reading goals for this week. I finished Why I Wake Early, but I'm still very on the surface of Stowaway. I think I've still yet to hit 100 pages. And then last night I got just over 50% of the way through A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is great. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm having a good reading week, but I think I was probably a little bit ambitious thinking I could read Child of the Prophecy 2. Luckily, this video is being filmed before it's actually going to be published. So I still have another week after this week to get everything else read. So I'm feeling hopeful that that will be possible. But I think for this reading vlog, I am just gonna focus on finishing A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I think the acronym is acotar, which sounds fun. So maybe I'll start referring to it as that, because A Court of Thorns and Roses takes maybe just a bit longer than I want it to take, but I'm saying it so often throughout this video. Anyway, I've had a really nice morning so far. It has stopped raining, the sun came out for a little bit, and because I've just finished reading Mary Oliver, the queen of nature poetry in my opinion, I think I want to take a little walk and just get a little bit of fresh air, because I'm a bit worried that if I don't do it now, I won't get out of the flat at all today, which would not be ideal. So it's a bit cloudy, the sun may come out again. I think I'm gonna finish my tea, head out for a walk, and then today I'm going to try and get a lot of reading done. I also have this weekend the flat to myself. George is visiting family and I wasn't able to go with him this time due to work commitments later in the week. So yes, it's just us. You haven't seen him for a while, but I promise he is around. He's doing really well as well. But yes, this weekend is going to be a lot of us spending time together and a lot of reading, but we're one book down and halfway through another and maybe a fifth of the way through the last one. We'll see how far I get. At the end of the day, this video is just me trying to get through a chunk of my reading goals for the next 2 weeks, so this week and next week, and we can only do our best. So let's finish this tea and then get ready to go for a walk. So I've just finished doing my work for the day and I'm coming into the kitchen to make myself some dinner. And I think I'm gonna go, sorry, I'm still holding my book. I think I'm gonna go for a tomatoey, pasta-y concoction. But this seems like the perfect opportunity to try my homegrown tomato. Notice singular, tomato. The others are not ripe yet. Here she is in all her glory. finally ripe and ready to eat. The rest of them are still not quite there, as you can see, but this little beauty, I think we have to try. Here we go. Hopefully it should just come straight off. Okay, I'm back. Oh, the sun's out now with my little tomato. I've been really obsessed with using these little tea bag holders as teeny tiny plates. Let's give our tomato a little taste. Cheers. Oh my goodness, that's so good. I'm sad there's only one now, but I'm very pleased I didn't just lob this in with the pasta. A delicious pre-dinner treat. I gotta move out of this sun now and make some dinner. Dinner was delicious, excellent. Ate that about 2 hours ago. It's much later in the day now. Didn't film for the past couple of hours, but I did do a little smidgen more reading, and then I've just been doing just boring house tasks like making the bed, and then got sidetracked trying to get a little mark, like an adhesive mark off a frame that I want to put up. And then went down the rabbit hole of thinking that the wall behind me was really, really blank. And we are planning to paint the living room, but I don't think that's going to happen in the very near future. And I'm sick of this wall being so blank. I've been waiting for us to paint before we make a gallery wall, but I'm a little bit fed up of it now. And I think because we're going to be going into the autumn season, and autumn days can be beautiful, but they can also be very grey and dreary and rainy. And I think keeping on coming into this room with it being just these blank white walls for the most part, even though got our lovely colourful books behind us, I just thought maybe I should have a go at thinking about the gallery wall layout. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 10-15 minutes. And yeah, this is what I've come up with, and I'm trying to decide if I've got the energy to make a start on it now or whether I should wait until tomorrow morning. But you know what they say, there's no time like the present. And if not now, when? And if not you, who? Let me show you the layout that I'm thinking of doing anyway. So this is what I came up with. As you can tell, it's got a slight woodlandy theme. So I think I'm going to do some preliminary measurements and then see how I feel after that. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll wait till tomorrow, or I'll wait till George is back even. But yeah, I think preliminary measurements and then we'll go from there. This is why I normally use command strips. Well, this is where I've managed to get up to. There's a couple of paintings which don't have hooks on the back, so we are going to address that tomorrow. I'll go out and get some command strips. I need to put a little mushroom up here, but I'm really pleased with this so far. That being said, I am quite sleepy now. It's coming up to about 10 o'clock, which is usually the time that I'm ready for bed or getting ready for bed. So I'm gonna go and make myself a little cup of tea and read in bed for half an hour or so. And I will say good night to you now, and I will check in with you tomorrow morning. Good morning, friends, and happy Saturday. Although when you're watching this, it is not Saturday, or it could be, depends when you're watching this. Yesterday evening, I finished most of the gallery wall. There's a couple of spots here and these other pictures that still need to go up. So I thought I would talk you through the plan for today. It's going to be quite chill, but I do have these tasks that I really want to get done. So the first one is to finish the gallery wall, and to do that I need to go and get some command strips or something to adhere those picture frames to the walls because they don't have anything that has like a hook on it or anything, and I feel like command strips are going to be the easiest and least messy way to do that. I also want to get a few foodie bits so I can combine those two errands together and pop into a supermarket, and hopefully they will have the command strips as well. I also have a few admin-y things to do, and then of course the main thing that I want to do today is finish acotar. I was like laughing to myself last night because the title of this video originally was going to be attempting to finish my summer TBR, and in reality I feel like all I've done this week is desperately try to make time to finish acotar and do absolutely nothing else. But the intention was there, and I still have another week after this before it's technically the autumn time, so I feel like I have enough wiggle room to do that. So today's reading priority is to finish A Court of Thorns and Roses. I thought I would quickly mention, although I feel like most people will already know this, as much as I'm really enjoying this book so far, I also would like to make people aware that there are a few triggers to be aware of. There is a lot of violence and brutality depicted in the book. It isn't constant, but it is very much there, and Sarah J Maas is not shying away from quite gruesome depictions at times. So if you struggle with depictions of violence, aggression, there are some descriptions of torture, but they are quite limited. But if you struggle with that, then avoid this series. And also, it's rather spicy. It's rather sexy at times, which I knew going in, but if you don't know that, just be aware. I don't usually read a lot of spicy romantasy, so I'm not quite sure on the scale how spicy it is, but if you're not used to reading that, just be warned that it is a little bit more mature and quite descriptive, so just be aware of that. I am still really enjoying the book, and I think it really gives me the guilty pleasure sensation. The book gives me the same feeling that I remember having as a young teenager when I was reading a vampire series. I will try and find out what it's called. I can't quite remember. I'll put a picture of the series on the screen, and it's one of those series where I remember reading it and thinking, this is okay in terms of plot and character and writing style, like it's fine. It wasn't life-altering, but it had me in a chokehold. It was one of those series where I just, as soon as I finished one book, I was reading the next book. If I wasn't doing anything that day, I wanted to be reading these books. And when I think back, I have no idea why, but it's one of those, it just really got me. And I get a similar feeling, a similar sensation with A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I do foresee myself reading the rest of the series. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about Feyre as a character. I don't really love her. I enjoy her tenacity, but as a main character, yeah, I don't think I would ever want to meet her. Does that make sense? I think I would find her slightly insufferable, but I do understand where she's coming from. I'm gonna go get ready for the day, take these curls out and head out and do some errands so that I can rush back and finish my book. There's nothing better than a fresh cup of peppermint tea. It's just the best. It is, however, much too hot at the moment, so we can chat for a while and then I can go ahead and drink this after. You may be able to tell from the unfinished wall behind me that I was actually unable to find the command strips or just any hanging materials, which was a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. And if I sit like this, you can't even tell. However, it did mean that I had much more time to finish reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's just gone 3:30 and I finished reading this about 5 minutes ago. Not quite sure that I loved the ending, the last 30 pages, 50 pages or so. Not 100% sure if I'm sold on it, but I am very invested in this next chapter of Feyre's life, and I have already, I did order the second book. So I think that tells you what you need to know. Is this the best book I've ever read? No. Did I really enjoy it? Yes. And I think that's totally fine to have books which aren't the best of the best and aren't groundbreaking or life-changing, but just incredibly enjoyable, and this is what that was. The fantasy elements are really easy to understand and to get behind. There's no insane world building, it's all quite easy to interpret, and I love the idea of all of these different seasonal courts. I think having the map in the beginning of the book here really drew me into the whole idea of wanting to explore these other courts. Just seeing that there was the spring, autumn, summer, winter courts, the dawn court, the day court, the night court, really got me excited. We've explored the spring court so far, and we've now met people from all the different courts, sort of. And yeah, I'm really interested to learn more about them. I'm really interested to learn more about Rysand? In my head I was saying Rysand, but whenever it was the shortened Rhys, maybe it's Rysand. Does anybody know? Let me know if you know. But yes, thoroughly enjoyed this, and even if this is pretty much the only book that I finished this week, I'm still pretty happy with that. I think it was very ambitious of me to try and read this. Having said that, I did read 2 out of the 4 books, and I'm not sure how many combined pages that would be, but yeah, and they were both really lovely reads, incredibly different reads, but very, very good. Anyway, I hope this video hasn't been too boring. I feel like a lot of it has just been spent with me in the flat at home by myself, but that's just been the reality of the last few days, and that's fine by me. So thank you for being here, and if you like this reading centered kind of content, then let me know, because I really enjoy making it. I love reading, and I've already got a few videos lined up to be released in the next month or so. So stick around if that's something that interests you, and also let me know any books that you're excited to read in the autumn time, which is just around the corner, or what's left on your summer TBR that you want to finish up before the autumn season begins. Thank you so much for being here, friends. Take care, and I will see you very soon in another video. Goodbye.